Isai, tell me a little bit about, is it Boohi?
Boohi, yes.
What's Boohi about?
Well, Boohi is basically a consumer electronics company that I started in order to help people surround themselves with beauty.
Okay.
So right now, our first product is a aeroponics system.
Aeroponics? What's that?
Aeroponics. So basically, there's three ways of growing anything, right? You have soil, hydro, and now air, right?
Okay.
So what basically aeroponics is, it removes the growing medium necessary in order to sustain plant life. And so what we use is water vapor and liquid nutrients in order to feed the plant, rather than using soil or water.
But let me back up a bit. You said the goal of the company is to surround yourself with beauty.
Right.
So where did the inspiration for this come from?
Well, I lived in the Philippines for 2 years, and while I was there, I lived in some of the more rural areas in the jungle, in the middle of the jungle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was completely removed from technology. I had no access to internet, nothing. It was one of the most blissful times of my entire life. I had a house right by the ocean. I got my food straight from trees growing outside, whatever we could find, just growing around. And I noticed that there is a distinct connection between man and nature. And I think that us as urbanites were removed from that quite significantly. This is kind of my attempt to bring that back into a technological society.
So when I go to Smith's, to the produce section, and they're about to start watering the produce that they've already taken off of the trees, and they make the thunderstorm sounds, like that wasn't cutting it for you.
No.
Okay.
It's the one thing I noticed is that I was mad. I was very angry
When you came back.
when I came back, right? Because I tried some of the food, the food that I'd gotten at Smith's or at Walmart's, and I ate it, and I knew that it wasn't real.
Is it not real, or is it?
It didn't taste like it should. You've never tried mango until you've eaten a mango right off the tree.
So this is like the whole vine ripened versus boat ripened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The difference was significant for me. It was very eye-opening.
So did you actually have a hard time adjusting to urban life upon your return from the Philippines?
I did.
Tell me about that.
I lived in a small studio apartment right by the temple. I felt trapped. I felt like I was living in a synthetic environment. It didn't feel real.
And you never had you never felt this before going out on that journey?
I had in moments of, like camping.
Sure.
It's just these 2 week long stretches where you're out, or, when you go on vacation, things like that. But there's a difference between being in nature long term and being in nature short term.
But you didn't feel confined in urban spaces before this trip, before this journey?
I didn't. I was comfortable.
And so upon coming back, you were feeling trapped. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
And so that bore out the idea that what can you do to
bring life into these living spaces, these concrete living spaces that we live in.
So what's wrong with planting in soil in a concrete space?
Well, for one, it's hard to do if you don't have access to land, right?
Okay.
Plants need a couple things in order to survive: sunlight, soil or a nutrient solution, and water. And those three things are hard to come by in a cement box, and they require a lot of maintenance in order to be done correctly. And so I wanted to simplify that process. I wanted to bring life into this concrete box. I wanted it to be easy enough for anybody to do. I wanted something where you can put on your desk, push a button, and you're growing the finest, wheatgrass, the finest vegetation that you can possibly grow. Right?
Okay, so I'm spoiled because I've seen the Boohi product, but for the people listening to this, they're probably envisioning some kind of like Jetsons thing. Can you walk us through what exactly is the product that you've developed?
Yeah, so what we've basically developed is it's honestly a box that allows...
Good-looking box.
It's a good-looking box. It is. Right now we're going for a natural wooden aesthetic. We're trying to source the box materials from sustainable sources like bamboo. And basically what it does is it atomizes water. Right? We use an ultrasonic transducer inside of the box, which is basically, technical jargon for something that a ceramic disc that vibrates at high frequencies and energizes the water molecules and turns them into mist.
So the normals call it a humidifier.
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
It's very similar principles.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And basically, what that nutrient-dense mist does is feed the plant directly, right? So it allows for a more efficient and economical growing experience.
Okay, so it's a wood box, and then on top is a wood lid, and in the wood lid is holes where I can actually start planting my produce or whatever it is I want to grow.
Exactly.
And if I were to lift up the top level of the box, or the lid, so to speak, then I would be surrounded by this mist, because the mist is kind of underneath the plants that are suspended in those holes, and it's feeding. And so I guess the one thing that I know for a fact is that I cannot put anything in a humidifier without screwing up the ultrasonic vibrator. But you've actually overcome that. You have a solution where you can actually put nutrients, i.e. not just water, and you can be feeding the nutrients to the plants, and the stuff that doesn't get absorbed by the plants kind of flows back down to the bottom, and it just recirculates until it does get. Got it. Cool. So are you making claims as to this is better than growing in soil? Is it just a different...
It is definitely more efficient than growing in soil. When you grow in soil, the natural process of evaporation happens, and because there's no system in place to keep the water where you want it, a lot of that is lost. A lot of the water is lost to the environment. Whereas in this box, it's kind of a contained water cycle within the box. So everything stays inside of that box, minus the water needed for the plant to grow.
So does this mean you're like a botanist major or like a plant microbiology? Is this rocket science?
No, I actually started out as a biochemistry major. Yeah.
And how much of that knowledge was necessary to develop this awesome product?
All of it.
Really?
Yeah. You need a fundamental understanding of how plants grow. You need to know what is necessary for a plant to thrive in order to make this happen. So yeah, I do have a science background. After living in the Philippines, I wanted to do something with that knowledge. So I decided, you know what, I'll go into business, right? I'll get some of that business knowledge so that I can do this thing and not completely screw it up.
So walk me through that. So you came back, you weren't particularly happy, and you knew what you were unhappy about. How do we go from there to actually deciding to develop and eventually launch Boohi?
It was a conversation with my girlfriend, actually.
Okay. Do you want to shout out to her? Still same one?
Yeah, okay. Same one. Shout out to Susan Argyle.
Okay.
Right.
You just lost half you just gave her half the equity, right? Okay, sorry, I'll shut up. Keep going.
We were talking, and the conversation was steering towards marriage.
Okay.
Right. After that conversation, I just realized how am I going to do this? Right. I can't be a student forever. I have to make a living at some point so that I can provide for a future spouse or my spouse and children. Right? And so it was that conversation that really motivated me to just do it, to just launch this thing, make enough so that I could support a family.
So I think I can relate. So sometimes I get scared that I'm not going to make enough money to provide, and then I start this mad scramble of thinking about like hairball schemes on how I can basically cheat people out of their money. But it doesn't sound like that was it sounded like you had already had this seed in your head about what you wanted to do, and that conversation is what kind of got you over the hump to decide to take it seriously. Is that true? Did you already, or did that conversation tell you, hey, I need to come up with something to do, and then you thought of this? Like which of the two was it?
I had this idea for years.
Oh, really?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And coming back from the Philippines made you understand that it was actually something that would benefit
society.
Wow, that's awesome. So what were the first steps? Like after this conversation, we're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I want to do this. Like walk me through what happens next. Did you go out and hire like a patent attorney? Did you
No.
What happened?
What I basically did was I just created the thing. I drew out what I wanted it to be, what values I kind of wanted to show through, the product. And yeah, I went to Lowe's.
Okay.
Looked around Lowe's and then started building it from there. And then only after I built it did I think, who else is doing this, right? And so I did some research as well on that, and then kind of like took the best ideas that those people had and I tried to put it into my product.
So where are you at right now? You've got the design finalized.
I have design, I have functioning prototype. People are buying it now. Like I actually made my third sale yesterday. Right?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wow. And so how did you, so you came up with a prototype, then what happened next? I saw a video that looked great. When did you decide it was time to make the video?
The video was actually not a kind of like, we did it in about 3 hours on an iPhone. It was in response to a competition that came up at a different school, and we only had like 3 days to prepare. And at that point, the first prototype, the pro prototype as I like to call it, was crap, right? And so I needed to make a better looking one. So I made that day that we actually shot the video.
Wow. With bamboo wood, accenting and everything. Wow. That's awesome.
Right.
Okay, so then you shot the video, and then you said we. Is it just you?
There's a team of us. We were all in the Philippines together.
Okay.
These are guys that I've known for years now. While I can provide the technical wherewithal, and knowledge for this project, I don't have the experience to show it to people on a large scale through video. I just don't have those
aesthetics.
Skills. Yeah.
So I guess that's a good question, because a lot of people are just afraid that they don't have what it takes to pull this off. And somehow I'm hoping that you can convince the people that are bold enough to listen to this interview 14 minutes in that it's actually not that difficult.
Well, in all honesty, if it wasn't all that difficult, everybody would be a millionaire. Right? It is supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to be hard to get other people to get behind your vision. If it isn't...
So tell me about that part. How did you get people behind your vision?
I started out by telling them the story, by telling them where I saw this product going. I gave them a vision to look forward to. If I could have very easily sold this as a gardening system, right? But I wanted more from this company, right? I wanted them to understand that this isn't just, a tech company. Our very name, Boohi, in the Filipino language actually means life. We're a life company.
So what was are you willing to share what that vision, like what was the pitch that landed, that kind of got everyone on the same page? Like, wow, maybe this is serious and worth pursuing, and let's listen more.
I always begin by asking people, like, what is it that connects you to nature? Most people can't really answer that if they've been in a concrete box, right? Most people can't answer what connects them to nature, because they don't have anything that connects them to nature. If you look around in this room, right, like the only signs of life are us. Like there's no green, there's no vegetation, there's something wrong with that. And basically told them that, in the future, technology, people are going to look back on this technological age and wonder how we did it. Right, how we could possibly live in these environments that are so starved of life. And so I imagine technology and life coming together and merging and becoming one, where we're not sitting at these concrete boxes with aluminum sheets of metal. We're in a place that is filled with life, not technology. Functional life.
And that it's resonating with me. Apparently that worked with. So how many people are actually on the team?
So we have 5 guys right now.
Has it always been 5 guys? Did you grow one by one? Did you get rid of some?
In all honesty, I just went out and I told this story to everyone I knew. And these 5 people were the ones that kind of stuck with me. They're the ones who really identified and could add value to what I was trying to do. And for me, it's not necessarily. I'm not a very greedy person. Right?
Just a little bit.
Not even really. Like, so equity was never really like controlling and having equity has never been like the main focus of my company. So I'm not going to say I give freely, right? But I think that if you see somebody that can add value, bring them on your team, right? And that's kind of what I did with these 5.
So, what about the journey itself? Like, what's been the most surprising part about this whole experience to date?
How scary it can be.
Tell me more.
Well, there was this one moment when I was in the Philippines where I was on this beautiful countryside overlooking the ocean, right? And I was just staring at this beautiful blue ocean, right? And it was expansive, it was enormous, and it just went on as far as the eye can see. And I just thought, how did Christopher Columbus come to be known as one of the most monolithic figures of humankind, right? He looked at that ocean, at that expanse, and he saw opportunity where the people saw fear. Right? And I just thought, someone had to make the decision that, hey, like, someone has to cross this ocean to find out what's on the other side. And I decided I wanted to be one of those people. Who knows? Maybe there is nothing on the other side. Maybe there is.
And that fear stopped you from doing anything until all of a sudden you started having grown-up conversations with your partner. What's next? You told me just yesterday you won second prize in the competition.
Right.
What's next and you sold your third unit.
Third unit, yeah. So we've made $450 in 1 week.
The first week that you started selling. Yeah. So you started selling. What was your first sale like?
The first sale was in all honesty to my father. Right. It meant a lot to really see that I created value in his life. It was actually a very emotional experience, and then my second was with Rob here. And that was even more shocking for me because I never sold anything to a stranger before. And then I realized that at that point, I'd already crossed that chasm. I'd already made the first and second sale. And that's kind of what's given me the motivation to continue.
Okay, and so in terms of what's next, like is everything being manufactured by hand here now? Or are you looking for suppliers? Like, give me the milestones.
So as of right now, we're making all the prototypes ourselves, right? Or all the kind of units ourselves. And second step is fine-tuning the ultrasonic transducer, getting it to a level that we really feel good about, how it works and that it will work every single time.
What are some of the design choices? Like, are you debating about whether to make it controllable or if it's like a one setting for everyone? Like, what are the decisions you have to make at this point?
In all honesty, if I looked at all the decisions, I would just drown. So what we're just doing is plug it in and it just goes.
Okay.
Right? And we're going to run with that until we can't.
It's no longer the minimum viable.
Right.
Okay.
Until we have to change it up.
And then for people that are listening that are still staring at that ocean and like they want to do something but they're still kind of afraid of taking that first step, besides from like raising the ante with their partner, what kind of advice would you give to them to kind of get them over that chasm or to encourage them or discourage them from trying something like this?
Make your first 5 sales. If you haven't sold any, sell it. Try hard to sell it. Right? And if nobody buys it, then it's a crappy idea. Right? Move on. It's okay. Just look for other value that you can create.
So did you get lucky? Did you pivot yet?
I did my research.
Okay.
I definitely put in the hours doing research. Quite a bit.
What have you given up by doing this?
I've given up thousands of dollars of what I could be using to spend on something else. I don't go out. Right? I have no social life whatsoever. I am.
Do you want to give out your Snapchat handle just in case?
In all honesty, like they.
I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that.
They would be very disappointed.
But so, are you applying? Are you a junior or senior? I totally forgot to ask.
I'm a junior.
A junior. And so, you're not looking for internships this summer?
I was until I decided to go full out, all out on this.
Which was how long ago?
Literally, I'd say 5 months ago.
5 months.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Any remaining logic? Any remaining knowledge you want to just drop on the listeners or on me? Shower more often, obviously, but
I guess it's just being scared is natural, right? It's a very it's a very common emotion. I think once you kind of get over it, there's really nothing holding you back except for fear.
And if you're not afraid, then you're probably not pushing yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Or it's not the right idea, or you're not the right person.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.